PG, Psycho Goreman. It's one of those movies I've had my eye on for a while because I really do love sort of homemade, home-crafted horror films. I wanted to check it out. I saw that it was on Vudu to rent for something like $4.99. Watched it last night, and I gotta say, yeah, I didn't really like it that much at all. Hey, as always, if you're enjoying the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and please be sure to subscribe. So you could think of this as something like Thanksgiving, if you've ever seen that movie or heard of that movie. Again, it's home-crafted, it's homemade, and in that regard, the spectacle of it is kind of interesting, and it is sort of fun to look at, right? I mean, there's some really kind of cool, cheesy gore effects, as the name would imply, Psycho Goreman, but it's not nearly as gory or violent or over the top as you would think. Well, I take that back. It is over the top, but again, the violence factor, the gore factor is actually kind of minimal. What you get instead is really sort of this weird, kind of absurd, bizarre cast of characters, and here's what the plot is all about. These kids are in their backyard playing a game of Crazy Ball, this game they've invented that makes no sense, and that's kind of a running gag in the movie. But in doing so, one of the kids wins, instructs the other sibling to dig a hole in the ground, and in doing so, they find a medallion or a gem that keeps this ancient intergalactic entity sort of at bay. But they inadvertently awaken this monster and give him the name Psycho Goreman. Again, he's sort of this ancient evil. There are these council of interstellar peoples or aliens or beings, whatever you want to call them. Some robotic, some clearly organic, some a mix of the two, who are tasked with keeping him trapped. And eventually they all sort of get mixed into this weird kind of topsy-turvy sort of environment. But it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, I know that it's not supposed to make any sense, right? It's supposed to be completely stupid and ridiculous and really ultimately kind of a horror sci-fi comedy. But I think, again, the spectacle of it is fun at times, but the biggest sin that this movie commits is that it's just not that attention grabbing. It's really kind of a psycho bore, man. Hey, In fact, I really had a hard time staying awake during this movie. Now, that could be my fault for starting it at 11 o'clock p.m. It's only a little over an hour and a half in length, so I don't know that I can fully blame it on that, but I really, especially in the waning moments of the movie, just started to not really care or find it as nearly as entertaining as I thought I would as things started to sort of play out. Now again, you do get some really cool effects here and there. I think the comedy does work at times. I would say it's mostly miss rather than hit, and I think the biggest reason for that is that literally none of the characters are likable, like at all. Maybe except for Psycho Goreman, which is saying something, but none of the human characters, and I don't know that we're supposed to relate with them, but none of the human characters really, I think, are funny or are memorable or you can associate with it all. It's really just sort of this weird mishmash of, again, sort of home-crafted, homemade special effects for the sake of showing what this movie can do in that regard, right? I mean, think about this. You've got a scene where a kid has been turned into a giant brain. Think about Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who is playing this game of Crazy Ball with the siblings who awoke Psycho Goreman and gets tired of playing and wants to get home. And so there's a shot of this, kind of paper mache brain lumbering across a school field. Like, that's the kind of thing you get with this movie, and it's really bizarre and kind of weird, and ultimately, in my mind, not all that entertaining. To me, this is the kind of thing that if it were on Netflix, you would absolutely, pop it up and just see what it's all about, and you can navigate away from it like you do a lot of stuff with Netflix. But is it worth the rental? No, not in my mind at all. It was really kind of disappointing. I wanted a little bit more from it, a little bit more psycho craziness, interstellar, something or another. Again, there are parts of that there, right? It's just that the way that it's all cobbled together, it feels like you're looking at a joke from the outside that you're just not in on, and in that regard, it's kind of alienating. Hey, anyway, that's my review of Psycho Goreman. If you've seen it, let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.